Hey everyone, this is your host Sonia, and welcome to Sonia Space. I've created this friendly space to inspire and encourage my listeners throughout their day. On this podcast series, I want to talk about life, relationships, mental health, women empowerment, hardships, and new experiences. My goal is to have an authentic and vulnerable discussion with my listeners. Hey there, thanks for tuning in to episode 15 today. I know it's been a while since I have dropped an episode, since episode 14, where I talked about my social media addiction. And the ultimate goal for my podcast series is to drop 2 episodes per month, but life happens and I was a little late in delivering an episode this time because I've been pretty busy. My sister-in-law recently got married, Jesse's younger sister. So Jesse and I were pretty busy with the events. We drove up to Dallas to attend Peyton and Ryan's beautiful wedding. I was one of the bridesmaids and Jesse was officiating the wedding. So it was such a wonderful event and it was nice spending time with all of the family members. But in terms of episode 15 today, I wanted to take a little bit of time in dropping this episode because for today's episode, I want to talk about my relationship and advice that I can give you from being married to Jesse for 2 years now. So today is Jesse and I's 2nd year anniversary. We got married in May of 2022, and I can't believe it has already been 2 years since our wedding, and it's our 2-year anniversary. So I wanted to honor this episode to our anniversary day. It feels like just yesterday that I was busy planning my wedding and I was stressed out about my dress and the events because we had like multiple events and we had, a Pakistani event and then we also had like an American wedding. And I remember so much what's going on, but it feels like it was just yesterday when all of these things were happening. And fast forward to now, I have been living with Jesse for about 2 years. And it's crazy how time has just flown by, like right in front of our eyes. I'm not even kidding. I feel like these last 2 years, we've both been so busy with our lives. I think, I had multiple events that I had attended. Jesse and I traveled a lot. Jesse had a lot going on as well. And my brother recently got married as well. So there's so much that was happening over the last 2 years that time just flew by. And with that being said, being together for 2 years and adjusting to this marriage, I still feel like we're newlyweds. I know it's been 2 years, like it's been over a year, but I still feel like we're newlyweds. And I feel like Jesse and I are in a good position at this point. And of course, there's always more to learn, but I feel like we're in a good position to give some relationship advice or tips on things that have worked out for us in our marriage, especially it being an interracial marriage. So things weren't necessarily conducted in the conventional manner. For instance, I did not live with him while we were dating. I started living with him once we got married. So, things were a little different in terms of, the conventional American dating lifestyle. And I feel like we've been through so much already. And I feel like Jesse and I are in a good position to, again, give that advice and tips for people that are looking to get married or are already married. And again, Jesse and I were still learning about each other, and there's so much more to learn, and there's so much more that we can do to enhance our relationship and our marriage. So for today's episode, for episode 15, I wanted to come on here to give some relationship advice or tips that have worked out for us over the last 2 years of our marriage and overall 6 years of being together and being in a relationship. My first piece of advice is take the time to date each other. And just because you aren't in the dating phase anymore, it doesn't mean that you should stop going on dates. So take the time to date each other. That means movies, traveling, doing activities together, whatever it may be. You want to bring that spark into your life the way you used to when you were dating. And Jesse and I both work from home. So we're in each other's faces a lot. Like we're with each other 24/7. We have somewhat of a routine going and everything. But that doesn't mean that we should get used to that and be content and comfortable with that. I get that when you're in a relationship, you're okay with being comfortable around your significant other, but we have understood the importance of doing things for each other, like going on dates, doing things for each other. So I would highly recommend that in order to keep that spark alive, and it's really good for intimacy as well, right? So you want to make sure that you're spending time with your significant other, dressing up and going on dates and doing fun things with your significant other. My next piece of advice is understand each other's love languages. So early on in a relationship, we were able to identify each other's love languages and we talked about it while we were dating. And we continued to, or at least try to make an effort to make sure that the other person feels loved, or we know what we can do to make sure that they feel loved. So there's 5 types of love languages. 1 is quality time. 2 is acts of service. 3 is gift giving. 4 is words of affirmation. And 5 would be physical touch and affection. So for me, my love language or love languages are quality time and gift giving. I'm very big on not necessarily receiving gifts, but I also love giving gifts in general. And that goes for everybody I love. If I know someone special in my life, I will go out of my way to give them something. And I also really admire and like when someone takes their time and is very thoughtful in giving me a gift. And it doesn't have to be something expensive or pricey. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will love a designer bag, but I would prefer a thoughtful gift, right? So someone's like, here's a tangible item for you that reminds me of you. And it could be a cute little item. It doesn't matter, but I'm really into gifts. And my other very important love language for me is quality time. So I would ask Jesse if he just wants to make a Target run with me or go get coffee with me or go to Hobby Lobby with me, just something random, right? Even if I'm just going to the gas station to fill up gas, I just like him to come with me. I just like spending that quality time with him. I do have my me time, but I don't know. This is just something that I have where I enjoy running errands with people that I love. And I also do this with my mom as well. I enjoy running errands with people that I love. It's just something that I have. So quality time is also really important to me, or going on a dinner and having a deep conversation about something and just catching up with people. I really enjoy quality time. And then for Jesse, his love language is words of affirmation. So he likes it when I give him affirmation of my love and I show appreciation and I do my best to let him know of that. I know that's what makes him happy. So understanding each other's love languages is really important because that's how you know that it's a way to your partner's heart. The third piece of advice that I would give you is understanding each other's conflict resolution styles. And what I mean by that is how do you communicate an issue and how do you resolve that issue? So you need to understand that how you approach that individually and how you approach that as a team. And you are a team because that is your lifelong partner. So for instance, I'm the type where it takes me time to emotionally process things. Like, I need space. I'm the type, if there's an issue, I will bring it up. I will talk about it, but sometimes I need some time to process it, take some time to myself, and let my emotions just flow through my body and understand what's going on before I come to a solution. Whereas my husband, if there's an issue, he wants to address it right away, which I love and appreciate. But sometimes you need to understand that you cannot be logical every time. There's also emotions involved, and Jesse's definitely more logical than me. I'm more of the emotional person in the relationship, but we've both understood what each person desires or needs during a conflict. And we've both understood that, okay, if I need space, that's okay because we can talk about it later. And if Jesse wants to talk about it right away, it's because he loves me and he wants to make sure that we have resolved the situation or the issue quickly. And I can respect that. But we have both learned to understand our differences. And if there is an issue to come up, then we know how to navigate through that issue to come to a common ground. I also want to add to this that if you're in a healthy relationship, you should know how to have a discussion with your partner without disrespecting them or bringing them down. So, having someone in my life who was able to work with me in having a healthy communication style is so important. And you need to understand that you need to set your ego aside, right? This is not keeping score. It's understanding that it's you guys versus the issue. You really are on a team. And it does stem from mutual respect for each other and mutual trust for each other. I think the foundation of having that is so important for your relationship to grow. So remember, if you are having a conversation about something that has bothered you or you're overcoming a challenge, understand that you're working on it together. And throughout that process, you're not disrespecting your partner and you're setting your ego aside. The next piece of advice I would give to couples is understanding the importance of privacy. And what I mean by that, it doesn't mean that you should post on social media or things like that. What I mean by that is if you're going through an issue with your partner, if you're overcoming challenges, or just the little details of your marriage and where your plans are, where your ambitions are, where your goals are, you don't need to discuss that with everybody. That shouldn't go outside of your marriage. I think a lot of times I've seen couples vent about their relationship or what's going on with their partner. And I'm all for, being there for somebody, but I think that should be a last resort type of thing. If you should learn to be able to resolve conflict with your partner, whatever is happening, you should go to your partner if you have an issue with your partner. You shouldn't be going to your mom, your dad, your close friend if you have an issue with your partner. You should go immediately to your partner and try to resolve that issue because in its essence, you're kind of disrespecting your partner. You have to find ways to resolve issues with your partner because, hello, it's a partnership and you have to be with this person for the rest of your life. You're probably going to have kids with them. You're probably going to raise kids with them. You're going to eventually buy a home. There's so many big life decisions that you're going to make with your partner. So you have to be able to navigate through all of that and know how to work with your partner. So that's what I mean by privacy is power. Whatever's happening in your relationship should only stay between you two. The last piece of advice that I would give someone in regards to relationships is please embrace your individuality. So spend some time with your friends, like that are not your mutual friends. Work on your own personal growth. Partake in hobbies and activities that you enjoy outside of doing those things with your partner. I feel like your individuality and your space is so important for your marriage. Just because you're married to somebody doesn't mean that you should just set your own personal life aside. I mean, yeah, your priorities change 100%, but that doesn't mean that you should stop embracing your individuality. And for instance, the way Jesse and I do that, Jesse has certain hobbies that he partakes in that I do not. And I have certain hobbies that I partake in that Jesse does not. And we have similar hobbies as well. I travel with him and I also travel a lot with my friends. And Jesse does the same thing. Like he goes out of town with his friends, but then he also travels with me. I feel like you should always embrace your individuality and work on yourself. You're making that room for individuality and the freedom to explore. It's really good for your mental health. It's good for your mental health and emotional stability. And in order to have a successful marriage, emotional stability is very important. If you're happy internally, if deep down you're happy and you feel that sense of fulfillment and purpose from doing things that you love outside of doing it with your partner, I think it's very important and it brings stability into your marriage. So I would highly, highly recommend taking some me time, which is outside of your partner. At the end, it takes the two of you individually and working together to work on a healthy marriage. And like I said, it involves having open communication. It involves having mutual respect and trust for one another. It's having that feeling of security and support from your partner. And when you're overcoming challenges, you know how to resolve those challenges constructively. And remember to always prioritize your partner. You made the choice to be in this lifelong partnership with your significant other. So you have to learn to compromise and be able to prioritize your relationship. And I would also say this is something that I'm going to leave this with is don't forget to be compassionate and empathetic towards your partner. We're all humans. We make mistakes. And sometimes things may not go well, but be able to have compassion and empathy towards your partner, especially if they're doing their best. I think it's a great way to nurture the relationship. I would like to end this episode with an inspirational quote regarding marriage. And the quote is, "It is not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages." Your partner should be your best friend. Think of somebody that you really like and love to be friends with. You should have that type of relationship with your partner. Not only is there love and intimacy, but there's also this level of friendship that you have with your partner where you're able to have fun together and have deep conversations. And my partner is the first person I go to when something's going on with me or when I have something to say. You should have that level of understanding with your partner where you've created this bond with them to where they are your best friend. Thank you so much for listening in today. I am so grateful for all the support and feedback I've been getting. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to Sonia Space and follow me on Instagram for sneak peeks on upcoming episodes as well as other inspirational content. I hope your day goes well and I've left you feeling inspired. Bye-bye.